Your attention, please. I'd like to say a few words. Eternal glory. That is what awaits the student who wins the Triwizard tournament. They said that the Goblet of Fire chooses the champion. However, I have decided that I, that is, myself, Headmaster Phineas Nigellus Black, will handle the task of choosing the student that will represent Hogwarts in the United States of America, as I believe that my judgment overrules the decisions of a silly object. It is with great pleasure to inform you that I have chosen Ominis Gaunt to compete for the Triwizard Cup.
Professor Black, forgive me to oppose in argument to contravene your decision. However, this particular student should not be allowed to represent us, as it is too dangerous. It is implausibly dangerous and also utterly irresponsible of us as professors to allow for a blind person to be pushed around this way. Choose anyone else.
Our champion is the heir
Of Salazar Slytherin. And so,
I have spoken.
We have arrived at the port of Saint Denis. We are in America.
It's sunny and warm.
Full of possibilities.
And loud!
It's almost as if we teleported here.
I suspect there are magical shortcuts across the ocean.
I see. So what are we going to do now that we're here? Should we go explore the city?
I say we explore the market. I wonder what tonics and cures are sold here in America.
We shan't forget that I have a tournament to win. I'd wager if I want to kill American beasts, I need to buy American weapons.
Then, first stop for us is the Wizards Bank of America,
said Agrius, and they clambered up the concrete steps onto the street. Passersby stared a lot at them as they walked through the bustling commercial area to the post office. Their hair, white blonde, ash brown, metallic black, and fluorescent orange, gleaming under the sun, gave away the fact that they weren't your typical new arrival. Ominis wanted every single item described to him, from the instruments playing the jazz music he could hear in the background, to the tram that was making that click-click-click-click sound as its wheels were hurtling up the tramway tracks. They reached the post office. It was very different from Gringotts. It wasn't run by goblins to start off with, something that Sebastian particularly appreciated. The postmaster was a squib, and need not magic to handle money orders, telegrams, parcels, gold, gemstones, blue tokens, jewellery and other valuables. Mail arrived irregularly via stagecoach or fairy horse riders, often delayed by weather, bandits or Native American raids. A small barred window served for transactions, and a locked strongbox held stamps and cash. Capitale was the name of the local currency. Wanted posters and community notices adorned the walls, making it a social focal point.
Ominous! Your face is on one of the posters,
said Gareth, a bit too loud, and immediately Agrius, Sebastian and Ominis gathered around him.
Well, what does it say?
Asked Ominis, realizing that now millions of people have seen his blind eyes. Sebastian read the post.
It says, the Triwizard Tournament's big reveal. The champions' names have been leaked. Carmela La Muñeca Montes from Ilvermorny, Jean Beau Finley from Beaubaton, and Ominis the Blind Gaunt from Hogwarts.
Oh dear, said Ominis with a worried expression. Agrius slung his arm over Ominis and comforted him by saying,
Hey, I wouldn't know what their support team is like, but you got some pretty talented wizards in myself, Gareth and Sebastian.
Ominis walked off with an
I suppose.
and stood in front of the barred window.
Morning.
Said Ominis to the postmaster.
I have come to cash a money order from Hogwarts.
Darn!
Said the postmaster, peering at Ominis.
Is this? Can this be?
They say the blind champion won't leave no survivors.
No pressure, said Ominis sarcastically.
A lot of bets have been placed on you right here in this post office. Odds are slim, but the payout's gonna be grand.
Said the postmaster casually, and proceeded to give Ominis a big stack of money.
I've never seen banknotes before. Actually, I didn't know you could print money, said Gareth.
Don't get any ideas, Gareth,
said Sebastian with a grin, and they all began to walk towards the market. Agrius chuckled softly and said,
You may have skipped to notice, but we are on the clock. Better hasten our shopping and get to Ilvermorny before it gets dark.
They picked up the pace, and before they knew it, they stood blinking in the sunlight outside the market, which encapsulated the chaotic, diverse and lively atmosphere of a turn-of-the-century urban centre, a bustling open-air marketplace in the heart of Saint-Denis, filled with various stalls selling goods like spellbooks, fresh produce, potion ingredients, concoctions, tonics, cures, combat plants, gear, cauldrons, dark magic artifacts, and even weapons. Vendors actively called out in different languages to attract customers, adding to the lively ambiance of America's multicultural essence. Saint-Denis Market, open daily, was painted in bright colours on the brick arch that served as an entry to the market.
Here we are. America's very own version of Diagon Alley.
I can't wait to see what potions they sell here.
Get in, losers. We're going shopping.
This place is getting worse by the minute.
Are they being racist towards us?
America is witnessing significant racism and discrimination against newcomers in this century, with so many people coming in at once.
Don't listen to the nonsense that woman spouts. A clean shot to the head is a far nobler death than being poked and prodded in the pursuit of quackery.
Speaking of quackery, can I have some snake oil, please?
I'm buying the ancient tomahawk and a bow with tracking arrows.
It's utter bedlam in here.
And on that note, I think we should head to Ilvermorny.
Not far from the market, there was a fast travel post. They all looked at it with sheer curiosity. Instead of a stone, with the flue powder and the green flame, there was a wagon wheel with a wooden cross and a skull of an animal with horns on top. Sebastian broke the silence by saying,
Any idea on how to activate it?
Ominous glided his fingers over the horns and took a guess.
I reckon one hoods onto the horns while being transported to the portal at a fast speed.
Gareth stepped forward and said,
Listen, spin the wheel with me at the count of 3. That should get it going.
They all put a hand on the wheel and the other hand on a horn. At the countdown, the wagon wheel spun and the animal skull came to life. They were suddenly surrounded by a bright light and the world around them shifted. When the light faded, they were at the entrance of Ilvermorny. Sebastian unrolled a scroll and said,
In this map, there's a room assigned to the Hogwarts champion and his esquires. Let's go find it.
We are now standing by a turquoise balcony railing. From here we can see a lake with the moonlight glinting off the water. The balustrade and fascia have a bright silver colour that gleams with the light reflected by the moon.
You skipped to mention the tornado approaching.
Just saw a giant spark of electricity coming out of the clouds and hitting the ground.
Time to switch off the commentary.
They closed their eyes, letting the exhaustion take over. The first light of dawn slipped through the lime green curtains of the dormitory at Ilvermorny. The 4 British wizards stirred in their beds. The storm that impacted the American wizarding school the night before had largely passed, giving way for the faint chirping of birds outside. The air was warm and humid, carrying a smell of freshly cut grass, mixed with the unmistakable, syrupy sweet aroma of pancakes, wafting up from the dining hall below. Ominous, always able to smell or hear things before anyone else, sat up and rubbed his eyes. His hair stuck out in every direction, a testament to his restless sleep.
You guys smell that?
He whispered, his voice hoarse but excited.
Pancakes! I've always wanted to try them.
Sebastian sprawled across his bed like he'd been dropped from the ceiling and pulled his pillow over his face.
It's too early for pom cakes.
I believe it's pronounced pancakes,
Said Agrius, quick to assert his superiority in terms of culinary knowledge.
Shut up, Malfoy,
said Sebastian, throwing a pillow at him. Agrius got smacked in the head with it and laughed, then said,
Oi, watch it. I'm not one to be trifled with.
Ominous smirked and said,
Sebastian is not one to be trifled with either. He never backs down from a pillow fight.
Agrius tried to chuck the pillow right at Sebastian, but hit Ominous instead.
It's ironic. I got wounded before the tournament even started,
said Ominous, who couldn't help but laugh at the irony of it all. Gareth was still asleep, sleeping like if not even his Aunt Matilda could wake him up. But even Gareth couldn't resist the scent of pancakes for long and woke up. He peeked out, his fluorescent orange curls a mess, and sniffed the air.
This smells even better than fizzing whiz beer.
Sebastian swung his legs over the side of his bed and jumped down with a thud that rattled the floor.
Pancakes, gentlemen,
he declared, striking a dramatic pose.
The breakfast of champions and their esquires. Let's move before the Yanks hog them all.
Ominous left his bed and said,
I think that's a derogatory term, Sebastian. You might not want to use it around here. I'm hoping you'll fetch some breakfast for me. I'm not leaving this room until it is my time to compete.
Agrius intervened by saying,
Don't be ridiculous, Ominous. Everyone here wants to meet you.
They don't want to meet me,
said Ominous with a sad tone.
They want to meet the scary wizard in the poster. The one with green laser beams coming out of his eyes. They will be disappointed when they see that I'm just a regular blind guy who lost his wand.
Don't let it worry you. It's me they want to meet. I'm extremely famous,
said Gareth. They all laughed and got on with getting ready to go. Eventually, they shuffled out of their room, joining the stream of students heading downstairs. The dining hall was surprisingly small at first sight, with nothing but a rectangular table and a few chairs. Yet it magically began to extend its diameter and to pop out chairs with every student sitting down. They soon realized that the whole room was enchanted with an extension charm. One by one, they all took a seat. The slants of golden light shining through the tall windows illuminated the faces of the students gathered around the breakfast table. They were all wearing blue and cranberry robes. Students with long hair wore their hair in a ponytail. Gareth, Ominous, Agrius, and Sebastian were all scrunched up at one end of the table, sitting on wooden low stools. 4 giggling girls with dancing ponytails and different hair colours sat down across from them. An African-American witch introduced herself and her friends by saying,
Hi, we are Lucy, Brittany, Scarlett, and yours truly, Jemima.
Sebastian promptly replied,
Cheers.
This red-haired lad is Gareth. The one with the light blonde hair is Agrius. I'm Sebastian, and you guessed it, this is Ominous.
The girls just giggled away. Then Brittany said,
Get him to do that thing with his eyes where they shine bright.
Ominous snapped at Brittany and told her,
I'm not a freak show. I knew coming here was not a good idea.
So sorry. I'm fixing to say that you're freakishly beautiful, Ominous.
I'm beautiful?
Asked Ominous, suddenly realizing that the Americans found him attractive.
We are all blinded by your light,
said Scarlett's a shy redhead who had been staring at Ominous during the entire time. Agrius, who had a lot of sway over anyone who will listen, intervened.
This tournament is aimed to foster integration between our schools, and for that we are going to need to walk on eggshells at first.
I ain't walking on no cracked eggs. I don't care what your traditions are back in dear old Blighty. I'm wearing ruby slippers,
said Lucy. And they all laughed at the silliness of their banter. And now Lucy seemed to be in Ominous's favour, which made Sebastian feel a pang of jealousy. But he was soon distracted by Jemima's stories about New Orleans voodoo. Most students had taken their school robes off since the weather was getting warmer.
Nice underclothes,
said Gareth, chuckling softly. Food seemed to appear out of thin air, just as it does at Hogwarts. But, unlike the typical English breakfast, what was conjured up before them were stacked pancakes, towering, oversized plates, with maple syrup pooling at the edges over crispy bacon strips and scrambled eggs. Steaming pots of coffee floated around, filling up empty mugs. Oranges squeezed themselves into large, colourful cups. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches were there for the taking, with one slice of bread folded over. Gareth chewed slowly, and his eyes wandered around the room, until they fell on the opposite end of the table, which was truly a cultural melting pot, with exchange students from South America and the Caribbean islands. Brittany and Scarlet claimed his attention by asking him what he excelled at.
Bit of a prodigy with potions, if I do say so myself.
Agrias pulled a funny, cross-eyed face and said to the girls,
Quit now before he force feeds you the beer that he brews.
They burst out laughing, and for a moment the pressure of the tournament melted away. There was just the chatter of the busy dining hall, the towering stacks of pancakes, and the friendship that was slowly building up between the British boys and the American girls. As they finished breakfast, they promised to meet at the Moonshine Shack to swizzle once the first task was over, and so Gareth, Agrias, Ominous and Sebastian headed out into the Ilvermorny grounds, ready to face whatever the first task may bring. The school grounds were vast, but unlike Hogwarts' grounds, the sweeping lawns of Ilvermorny were enchanted to grow exotic forests of crazy colours with the perfect microclimate for harbouring magical creatures found nowhere else, including a colony of puckwudgies. Now in the daylight, the lake looked enchanted, with sun rays dancing on the water. Gareth broke the silence, saying,
This is brilliant. Such a magical place. No wonder they chose it to build a magical school here.
Agrias concurred.
I think it's a perfect place for a school. It's like a whole new world waiting to be discovered. The wizard-kind American dream.
Ominous differed from his friends in this matter.
A dream to some, a nightmare to me. I cannot wait for this bloody tournament to be over.
Time for a proper Ilvermorny welcome, said Sebastian, shaking his head, as if their arse was about to be kicked. Suddenly, the Ilvermorny headmistress is standing on the balcony outside her office, looking relatively young and modern, using Sonorous to amplify her voice, which put emphasis on her southern accent.
Ladies and gentlemen, guys, gals, and everything in between, I give y'all the awesome, the super cool, the one and the only Triwizard Tournament.
There's a loud cheer.
If you're from Hogwarts, give me a cheer!
There's an enthusiastic cheer from Agrias, Sebastian, and Gareth, whereas Ominous tried hard not to cry.
If you're from Ilvermorny, give me a cheer.
There's a loud cheer.
And if you're from Beaubaton, give me a cheer!
There's a slightly limp cheer.
Slightly less enthusiastic from the French there. And there they are, y'all. I present to you the reason why we're all here. The champions! Ominous the Blind Gaunt. He's a hero to some folks, a villain to others, and most likely somewhere in between. Oh, yes. Carmela Montez. Sweet, innocent little Carmela. Looks like butter wouldn't melt in her mouth, but make no mistake, this is one stone-cold killer. Vicious as all hell. And by the time you realize, you'll already be dead. Jean Beau Finley. Rich dandy who read one too many dime novels, out there trying to play outlaws with the big boys.
This year's Triwizard Cup is on fire.
The champions were being asked to take a step forward. Ominous did it reluctantly, with a firm grip on the ancient tomahawk which was now replacing the wand he lost. He was hoping for the Great Spirit to help him navigate his surroundings. Carmela and Jean were standing on each side of him, radiating confidence and a hint of malice. Their wands were at the ready, but they were concealing a few enchanted muggle weapons under their clothes. Gareth, Agrius and Sebastian were just a step behind Ominous, ready to come to his aid at his command. Carmela had the 3 youngest members of the Del Lobo gang wrapped around her little finger, and Jean had chosen 3 of the prettiest Vila to swoon over him. After a long pause, the headmistress continued.
And now, silence please, y'all. The first task. Capturing a piazza bird.
A bird? Is that it? Said Sebastian, laughing in relief.
Not just a bird, Sebastian,
said Ominous, with a sigh.
A fearsome man-eating monster who is said to terrorize Native American villages, carrying off victims.
The headmistress continued.
And guiding the champions in the swamp, Philip Carlier.
There were no cheers, since Mr. Carlier looked completely deranged.
Yay!
The headmistress seemed to be the only one who cheered, then proclaimed.
And with no time to lose, all 3 champions and their support teams will follow Mr. Carlier into the swamp.
The Ilvermorny school band shuffled onto the risers, while clutching their instruments like life rafts. The band played a cacophony of missed notes and mistimed entrances, while the students and professors adjusted their omni-oculars to get to see the champions and their support teams bravely entering the nearby swamp. Up ahead in the distance, they saw a shimmering light.
Ain't much in the way of company out there,
said Mr. Carlier, and added with a suppressed laugh.
Or much that won't try and eat you, or put you on a pike.
Then he lit up a torch and he showed them the way into the depths of the swamp. The air hung thick with the stench of rot and damp, a miasma that clung to everyone's clothes as they trudged deeper. Ominous swatted at a mosquito. Gareth tried to cheer him up with a joke.
First kill of the day goes to the Hogwarts champion.
Agrius tried to lighten the atmosphere, saying,
Don't get too cocky simply because you had one victory over a mosquito.
Sebastian was the only one not laughing. Despite not being an expert in voodoo magic, he was able to identify signs of it in the dismembered bodies found hanging from trees. Walking beside him was Carmela, who also spotted the dead bodies. She slowly and carefully pulled out the machete strapped to her thigh and hacked at a tangle of vines with a single, brutal swing. Her movements precise and ruthless, making way for her support team to pass through. Trailing behind, Jean and his trio of Vila were knee-deep in murky water, becoming increasingly angry at the discomfort they were experiencing due to the environment they were in. The Vila appearance shifted as their faces sharpened and changed into beaked bird heads with long, scaly wings bursting from their shoulders. Jean, son of a Vila, did not inherit these powers, but knew that his Vila would be carrying him off if needed. Mr. Carlier cackled from the front, his torch swinging wildly. His beard was a nest of twigs and moss, and his eyes glinted with a feverish glee.
You'll see,
he rasped, hobbling over a root.
This swamp's got secrets, deep ones, older than time.
Gareth chuckled softly and said,
A jaunt through a festering bog is not how I wanted to spend my evening.
Mr. Carlier replied,
You want that Triwizard Cup, don't you? Heh, it won't come easy.
His laughter echoed, swallowed by the croak of frogs and the rumbling growls of crocodiles. Mr. Carlier led them deeper, past gnarled cypresses and pools that shimmered with an unnatural sheen. The path grew narrower, the mud crawling up their bodies like a living thing.
Not far now,
Mr. Carlier crooned. like he couldn't wait to see the champions being eaten alive by the Piazza bird.
Is he not the dodgiest fucker you've ever met?
Said Carmela to Sebastian as they walked side by side. Sebastian chuckled and said,
Honestly, nothing he says sounds strange to me anymore.
Mr. Carlier parted the willows, revealing dry land and a cauldron hanging over a burning flame of campfire, and said,
If you just let me share this potion with the champions, it's a rite of passage. Yes, that's what it is.
Ominous. Carmela and Jean gathered around the cauldron and took a sip of the potion straight from the ladle. They began to cough and fell on the ground. Mr. Carley said mockingly,
Comes on rather strong the first time, does it not?
Gareth pushed through, took one good look at the contents of the cauldron and said in an accusatory tone,
This potion is hallucinogenic.
Mr. Collier burst out a wicked laugh and disappeared. Gareth said to Sebastian and Agrius,
We should fight potions with potions.
They all agreed and got to work. Gareth searched his satchel for ingredients that could act as trip killers. He found a few substances that may work and sent Sebastian and Agrius to fetch him mystical orchids.
The three champions were curled up on the floor, going through a psychedelic trip that allowed them to see the Piazza bird, along with a number of wrongly sized animals, such as an owl with green laser beam eyes, a miniature horse, a gigantic pink rabbit, and a chubby chicken. Despite his blindness, Ominous was able to experience hallucinations stemming from spontaneous activity in the brain's visual centers, which made him feel a presence rather than to see colors and forms. While being in a trance, he managed to get up and, tomahawk on hand, walked over to the Piazza bird.
There was a loud bang behind him, followed by the voice of Mr. Carlier shouting,
Until next time.
That is when the galleon dropped, and Ominous realized that Mr. Carlier couldn't hurt him because he wasn't real. So he needed to ignore him and capture the Piazza bird, or be captured by it. Ominous reached for his bow and arrows, knocked a sedative arrow, and drew his bow smoothly and stealthily, aiming slightly ahead at the body of the Piazza bird, accounting for distance and wind. He then released the arrow with a steady hand and tracked the bird immediately to pick it up. With a swift move, he slung the bird over his shoulder and then waited, hoping for his mates to have found a way to wake him up from his psychedelic trance. Meanwhile, Sebastian and Agrius gave Gareth the mystical orchids, and after crushing them into the cauldron, the trip killer concoction was ready. They all teamed up to feed Ominous a spoonful of the potion. Shortly after that, Ominous awoke from the trance, his mind slowly returning to clarity. Lying next to him was the sedated Piazza bird.
Gareth said.
You got the Piazza bird. Incredible.
Sebastian chuckled.
We're having fried Piazza bird drumsticks for dinner.
Agrius picked up the bird and trussed it for safe measure, while saying,
We must keep the bird alive. It's worth more this way.
Gareth and Sebastian flanked Ominous as he stumbled from the after effects of the potions he had. The entire school cheered loudly as Agrius handed out the sedated Piazza bird to Ilvermorny's Care of Magical Creatures professor, asking for it to be kept alive in a secluded vivarium. And when Ominous returned, flanked by Sebastian and Gareth, the crowd went wild. Ilvermorny's potions professor took on the task of administering antidotes to the Ilvermorny and Beaubaton champions.
I want all the judges over here now,
said the Ilvermorny headmistress, who was standing at the front door of the school, flanked by the marble statues of Isolt and James. The judges were summoned and shared their scoring, the headmistress announced.
The first task of the Triwizard Cup needs awarding, and the points stand thus. Ilvermorny and Beaubaton's champions tied for second place with 0 points.
There was a murmur of disagreement amongst the crowd. Avila spoke.
Perhaps I could get a point for all the mad I had to sallow.
The scoring is not up for debate,
said the headmistress, and continued.
Hogwarts champion has been awarded as follows. For magical ability, 5 points for fighting without a wand. For intelligence, 10 points for realizing that Philip Carlier was only acting as a decoy. and for courage. 10 points for relying on the potioneer abilities and on the resourcefulness of the support team. Moreover, ethics must be taken into account. And I have a few last-minute points to award. To Mr. Sebastian Sallow, keeping up the spirit of wandering while being in the least desirable environment. 5 points. To Mr. Gareth Weasley, for the best trip-killer concoction that Ilvermorny has seen these many years. 5 points. To Mr. Agrius Malfoy, for making sure that the bird wouldn't be sacrificed, showing both benevolence and an optimal use of natural resources for behavioral research. 5 points. And finally, it takes a great deal of bravery to stand up to your enemies, but a great deal more to stand up to enemies you cannot see. The judges awarded 10 extra points to Ominous Gaunt, winner of the Triwizard Tournament's first task with a total of 50 points, which is the maximum score. Hip hip hooray for Hogwarts!
The crowd cheered as Ominous was carried over the shoulders of his support team, back to their assigned dorm room, where they would shower in the ensuite and dress up to go to the Moonshine Shack. They left Ilvermorny behind and walked down a path in the desert.
What was that?
Asked Gareth, feeling uneasy about the howling in the distance.
Those are not wolves, I can tell you that much,
said Agrius, while hastening his pace. Sebastian said in an excited tone,
Oh, come on, lads! Where's your sense of adventure? We're in America, land of the free, home of the moonshine.
Also home of the Sasquatch, America's very own Bigfoot,
said Ominous, as the howls and grunts were becoming increasingly louder.
Get in, quickly!
Gareth urgently shouted, as he opened the screeching door. The floral bar decor of the Moonshine Shack interiors offered a Tech-Mech style, with a large stained glass window behind the bar, tile flooring, exotic flowers, and paintings of tropical places, providing a vibrant atmosphere with Tiffany lamps hanging from the ceiling.
Well, this is nothing like the Three Broomsticks,
said Agrius, as he turned his nose up at the place.
This is even better than that! With the added thrill of being in an illicit distillery in the American frontier,
Sebastian remarked, and poured himself a glass of moonshine. His friends followed suit, filling up their cups with spiced moonshine that caught the light like liquid fire.
Let's get a table near the stage and wait for the girls,
suggested Ominous, poised to find a seat without the need of a wand, since the first task taught him how to daydream in a way that a presence could be felt.
I'm getting folksy vibes. Very glad we're here,
said Gareth as he sat down and had a look at a grizzled old-timer with a banjo, a refined lady at the piano, a chirpy fiddler girl, and a black American young man with a washboard equipped with 2 spoons and a harmonica.
Y'all made it!
Said a voice approaching from behind.
Barely made it,
muttered Ominous.
Hi, Brittany,
said Agrius, giving everyone else a curt nod.
And hello, Lucy, Jemima and Scarlet,
said Sebastian, flashing a welcoming smile. The boys made room for the girls, their faces flushed with excitement.
Here, have a sip. Go on,
said Gareth as he handed them a glass of moonshine each. The girls were giggling after the first sips of Shiner.
Now this is the sort of party I like to be invited to. Thanks for telling us about this place,
he shouted over the music.
The shack ain't no secret to no one.
Well, everyone knows. Except the revenue agents,
said Lucy with a chuckle and added,
Surely you have a blingy saloon back in dear old Blighty.
We have 2 near our school, but we don't call them saloons. We call them pubs,
said Ominous, and added with a sigh.
No live music, though.
No band? What you got to keep the spirit lively over there?
Asked Jemima, perplexed.
Gossip, and the occasional troll visit,
said Ominous, amused with his inside joke.
Trolls?
asked Jemima, nearly spilling her drink.
You shan't worry,
said Sebastian, reassuringly.
even with their height advantage. No troll stands a chance against us.
Scarlet stated in between giggles.
Bit ominous, trolls the trolls.
I don't need to try that hard, darling.
Said Ominous while doing a diva wave hand gesture.
Damn right! You really look amazing.
Stated Jemima, who couldn't help but say it.
And we all know I look amazing.
Said Gareth jokingly. Agrius raised his glass in a toast.
To new friends and strong spirits. Bottoms up.
Cheers! Here's to you!
Cheers.
Cheers!
Buck up. Good health.
Cheers. Best of luck to you. Good wishes and clinking glasses got everyone into the groove as the music swelled with a hypnotizing rhythm. The shack pulsed with life. A hidden world where the British gallantry blended with American boldness over banjo strings and sips of Shiner.
Are these songs purely instrumental, or do they have lyrics?
Asked Ominous, who was delighted to be included in a social activity that requires no visual input to enjoy.
Best if y'all don't get to hear the lyrics. It's always about outrunning the law. Classic Shiner runner tales.
Replied Brittany, rolling her eyes.
What kind of music y'all vibing to in Britain?
Curiously asked Jemima.
Back home, we have refined strains of classical music. Although I wish there was more to it than love for grandeur,
said Ominous thoughtfully.
This band here is brilliant. And this evening is one for my diary,
said Gareth with a grin.
You keep a diary. Ain't that sweet? I keep one too,
said Scarlet, shifting her attention from Ominous to Gareth.
So do I,
said Sebastian proudly.
that precious notebook of yours with dark magic nonsense scribbled across its pages is not a diary, Sebastian.
Said Ominous, in between a chuckle and a sigh.
I've got a field guide. Might not be a diary, but it helps me write down my thoughts and track progress.
Said Agrius, bragging a bit.
You know, I never thought I'd actually say this, but I'm starting to feel twinges of nostalgia for Hogwarts,
said Ominous, feeling homesick. Sebastian rolled his eyes and said,
We only just got here.
Bless your heart, Ominous. Moon pie. I'll make sure you enjoy this shindig. We gotta wrap you in warmth and hospitality to make you feel right at home here in America,
said Brittany soothingly.
I think I'm feeling a little homesick too,
said Sebastian, longing for what Brittany offered.
No, you're not. We only just got here, remember?
Teased Gareth. Agrius said to Gareth in a quiet voice.
You know I hate to say this, because I'm all up for integration between our schools, but there's something about Brittany that just rubs me the wrong way.
Well, she obviously rubs Ominous the right way,
said Gareth, nudging towards Brittany and Ominous, who were now snogging. Sebastian noticed what was going on and hurried out, saying,
Time to ditch this joint.
Can't believe this.
We only just got here, said Ominous, refusing to go.
Look, Sebastian, my best friend is busy enjoying her adolescence with your best friend. So scamper up and do the same.
Teased Jemima.
Right on, sister,
said Lucy, and high-fived Jemima.
I can't think right now. I need to leave,
muttered Sebastian, and left.
It's ironic. When I hit on him, he rejects me. Yet when someone hits on me, he won't allow it,
said Ominous, with his head resting on Brittany's ample bosom.
The dog in the manger won't eat the oats, or let anyone else eat them,
said Brittany while softly caressing Ominous's hair. Ominous muttered,
Poor Sebastian. He doesn't know what he wants.
Do you know what you want?
Asked Scarlet, secretly wishing to be the object of Ominous's desire. Ominous replied.
I know for certain that I don't want to hurt Sebastian. He's my oldest friend.
Brittany hugged him tight and whispered in his ear,
So you're trying out new things. He ought to be happy for you, if he's genuinely your pal, sugar.
Don't mean to pry,
Gareth intervened.
but you only get one shot at a Brittany. You can always brew things with Sebastian later.
Ominous stood up abruptly and excused himself by saying,
I won't have Brittany just because I can. I'm not like that. Feelings are important to me, and I have feelings for Sebastian. Deep, strong feelings that seem ancient, like if they've been there before the clocks kept time. And I'll not say a word more. I'm sorry.
Brittany nodded in understanding and told him,
Find Sebastian.
Get your man.
Ominous left the Moonshine Shack and ventured into the desert in the hope to find Sebastian. He was certain that Sebastian would be at Rio Grande, given the fact that growing up, they played happily by the riverbank every summer at Feldcroft.
Best be off, said Gareth after Ominous was gone.
Oh, please don't go. We were hoping to have a roll in the hay with you and your blonde friend,
said Lucy boldly. Agrius chuckled softly and said,
I don't roll that way. Thought you should know.
Gareth took the opportunity to set the record straight and stated,
Well, as I see it, there's little difference fundamentally between me and spaghetti.
Everyone laughed but Lucy, who didn't get the joke.
Spaghetti? What's that got to do with anything?
Asked Lucy, totally clueless.
Spaghetti is straight until you heat it up.
Stated Scarlet while giggling and blushing.
My oh my.
Lucy chuckled, and now everyone laughed at her reaction. Lucy found herself singing along to the song the band was playing, trying to divert attention.
Oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me. When I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. Oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me. When I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee.
Lucy, that was incredible!
Gareth said, clearly impressed.
Is Alabama far from here?
Agrius asked, brimming with curiosity. Jemima replied,
Well, I come from Alabama myself, and let me tell you, it ain't near far enough to keep the crazy at bay.
Gareth chuckled and asked,
Is it true that if you stood at the front door of a house in Alabama and fired a shotgun, the bullet would zip clean through every room and out the back door?
I've never tested the floor plan myself, but I'd say that's about right.
Jemima remarked.
What is your house like?
I live in a little Tudor building with a large stone pig pen on the side. I like to kick it in the sticks, that's for sure.
Gareth replied with a grin.
I'm bunked up in an apartment downtown, crowded like a pig pen at feedin' time. Gareth, you know what I'm talking about, don't you, Ginger?
Brittany stated, boasting with independence and pride. Gareth replied,
Goodness, the squeals and squabbles I hear in my pig pen when I arrive with a bucket of slops are not much different than the sounds the students make when dinner is served at the Great Hall after a long day.
Agrius smirked and pointed out,
The people here look like they had a long day.
social status and prejudice were left outside when entering the Moonshine Shack. In here, people from all walks of life shared a table and raised their glass of shiner to freedom and to the ideals of the American frontier. The broken back from picking cotton non-stop at the plantation, keeping up appearances as an uptown lady in America's high society, working on the railroad while putting up with a demanding foreman, or washing clothes by hand all day as the town's washwoman. None of that mattered. Here they were, all chatting like equals, laughing together and drinking their sorrows away, in the hope that moonshine will set them right. Outside the shack by the river, Ominous was still looking for Sebastian. Eventually, he heard Sebastian's voice saying to himself,
That bloody fish swam off with the bait again.
Ominous approached him.
Hello, Sebastian.
Ominous? I didn't think it would be you I'd be catching tonight,
said Sebastian teasingly. Ominous playfully retorted.
Well, you know what they say. There are plenty of other fish in the sea. But you shall never let a good one swim away.
Sebastian said.
Speaking of fish swimming away, I transfigured my wand into a fishing rod, and I'm using a cricket as bait. All I can see is the rod and the line above the water. I don't know what that little twerp is doing underneath, but it always manages to steal the bait.
Ominous chuckled.
Fishing is not about seeing the fish, Sebastian. It's about feeling the steady, hard pull of the line.
Steady hard, all right,
teased Sebastian, while pushing the hook straight through the cricket and saying,
Know what, Ominous? I love you like crickets love chirping.
Well, that one can't chirp now that you hooked it, Sebastian. So much for your so-called chirpy love,
chuckled Ominous. The line tightened, and Sebastian's breath caught.
Wait, I felt something. I'm feeling the hard pull of the line, but it's pulling from every direction.
Ominous stood behind Sebastian, gently nudging his hand in the right direction.
Let the fish think he's winning.
He chuckled, with his hand still resting lightly on Sebastian's wrist.
Crikey! The fish ran off with the bait. Whose side are you on, Ominous?
Ominous chuckled.
He will come back for more. Trust me.
The same way you came here looking for me?
Sebastian asked. Ominous's heart quickened, and he stood there in silence while Sebastian baited the hook with another chirpy cricket. Finally, he answered.
I won't admit it so blatantly, Sebastian. If you are coaxing me to tell you my deepest secret, you have to reel it in slowly.
Sebastian turned the reel, his movements growing smoother as Ominous's hand guided him.
You got a forceful pull on your line. Don't yank it. Let him come to you.
Ominous murmured, his breath warm against Sebastian's ear. Sebastian took the hint and kept the line loose. The fish stopped fighting back and began to swim in circles, not knowing which way to go.
Don't pull yet,
Ominous said quickly, his hand tightening on Sebastian's wrist.
Ease him in, nice and slow. Let him think he is still free.
Gently, like this?
Sebastian asked, while enjoying the slow turn of the reel as Ominous's body pressed against his.
That's perfect. It got hard and tight. We are so close. Reel it in as fast as you can.
Ominous embraced Sebastian firmly from behind. Sebastian felt a sharp jerk and reeled it in vigorously.
Oh, yes. You're all mine.
You best believe I'm yours,
Ominous whispered.
I caught you, you pesky little bugger.
Sebastian lifted his fish triumphantly.
That fish is not little. I'll wager its weight is about 2 kilos,
said Ominous, relieved as the weight of the love confession lifted off his shoulders.
That's a hearty meal, I'd say.
Sebastian took Ominous's hand, walking back to Ilvermorny under the moonlight.
The next morning they were all late for the second task.
The headmistress was already halfway through the announcement. As they stood before the podium, she revealed the target.
The Owl Hoot family. First off, they ain't no family. More like an unhinged congregation of the worst bastards and bitches on God's green earth. You think they look bad on this poster? Wait till you see how folks look after the family's done with them. Bringing just one of these owl hoots down will not cut it here. You'll have to get all 4 of them that's on the list. They shouldn't be too far away from each other, but you'll have to do some looking. And when you get them, don't hold back.
They were each assigned a fairy horse. Ominous took the lead and said,
Leave it with me. The Owlhoot family has nothing on the Gond family.
Agrius smirked.
No one knows the desert like the Ilvermorny champion. Clearly we should follow her.
Sebastian, Ominous, Agrius and Gareth rode their horses as fast as they could in order to keep up with Carmela, who knew the desert like the back of her hand. Sebastian concurred.
We shan't be drawn into the mire. She can't possibly carry all 4 Owlhoots on her own, and her gang didn't even bother to show up.
Gareth chuckled.
The Del Lobo gang? More like the Cabade gang. That's Spanish for coward.
Carmela dismounted her horse and told them,
Get off your high horses, gringos. Evil, staunch wizarding families are not everyone's cup of tequila.
The sniper atop the fort was down before Carmela finished her sentence. Ominous, Sebastian, Gareth and Agrius followed her stealthily into the fort. Carmela warned them.
Of all the devils let loose in the world, there is no devil like the Owlhood family.
You should meet my family,
retorted Ominous.
They torture muggles for sport.
Carmela chuckled.
I'll meet them in hell.
In the meantime, we need a plan.
Agrius pointed out.
Listen, we'll jump down that hole in the roof.
Gareth instructed.
That's the son. He and I go a long way. Leave him to me. He's mine.
Carmela captured one of the Owlhoots.
Hey, you don't belong here. I choke on vomit, that's on you. If anyone's still got their heads, they're sure gonna feel them tomorrow.
What does that even mean?
Ominous asked with concern.
It means that we'll be shot in the head by his gang, and if we do survive the headshot, we will wake up with a pounding headache tomorrow from the gunshot wound.
Sebastian explained.
You know, we was having a hell of a celebration before you showed up. Real Owlhoot hoedown. And you went and spoiled the party. I hope you're pleased with yourself. This is too much. Too much. My brain's rattling around my skull like a liar's dice. I don't know if I want to stare at the ground or this animal's ass. Gotta hope it ain't flatulent. Queasy don't even begin to describe it. From king of the castle to face down in a horse's ass. This is quite a damn reversal.
Agrius chuckled.
I can see the bounty wagon.
Look at that, a rolling cage. You think I can go to sleep in that thing? Know what? I think I can.
Bounty? You're in the right place.
Carmela stowed the young Owlhoot in the wagon and rode away to find the rest of the Owlhoot family.
He'll finally shut up.
Agrius scoffed and followed Carmela, with Ominous, Gareth and Sebastian riding closely behind. Ominous alerted them.
I can hear a young female voice. I think it's the daughter of the Owlhoots.
Lassoes on the ready, boys,
instructed Agrius. Sebastian, Ominous, Gareth and Agrius twirled their lassos overhead in wide loops, the ropes whistling through the air with each spin of their wrists. Meanwhile, Carmela dismounted her horse and stealthily approached the Owlhoot's daughter.
You all better be keeping your eyes out, or I'll take them eyes out of your heads myself. We is outlawed by the state, and while we is, I am the only one getting any rest. Going to take a load off.
The fight broke out among the family. Agrius, Ominous, Gareth and Sebastian rounded them up and lassoed them, stowing them on the back of their horses and riding back to Ilvermorny. The headmistress ordered the arrest of the Owlhoots and granted extra points for interschool collaboration. The third task was to find a unicorn.
Gareth, move over.
Agrius snarled.
If I move over anymore, we'll be spotted,
said Gareth. Agrius smirked.
This is ridiculous. Ridiculously genius,
grinned Gareth. Sebastian said.
Yeah, pretty sure you're the only one who thinks that. I agree. I can't even see a unicorn.
I am winning. So they came up with this task to make it impossible for me to win.
Ominous scoffed.
Come on now, mates. It's an adventure.
Not just a tournament.
It's a bug. Get it off, get it off.
Gareth panicked, and Agrius grabbed the bug, saying,
Come here. Gareth, you can't claim to want adventure and then freak out whenever adventure comes. Especially if that adventure is a little beetle.
Sebastian added mockingly. Gareth said,
It's not the beetle nor the unicorn.
I mean, it's the thrill of the unknown. The rush of the adrenaline is what makes life worth living. This once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
And I think this is what this task is about. Ominous. The third task is not to find a horse with a horn. It's to find your unicorn within. By harnessing your own purity, innocence, and divine power.
Ominous chuckled.
Oh, I get it.
So, I just need to stand in front of the entire school and say that I am a unicorn.
Gareth warned them.
Something's coming.
Who's there?
Asked the Pukwudgie.
Oh dear. That's not good.
Said Ominous. The Pukwudgie said,
There's no use hiding. I know you're here.
Sebastian scoffed.
Well, isn't that just magnificent? Instead of being able to say we saw a unicorn, we'll have proof from the scar of the arrow it shot through our heads. Sebastian's right, we need to get out of here.
Ominous warned them. Agrius asked Gareth.
What now, Weasley?
Gareth hesitated.
What?
Agrius replied in disbelief.
What do you mean, what? Didn't you say you planned everything out?
Gareth said,
Well, I might have only planned the bits involving the, unicorn.
Agrius, Ominous, and Sebastian scolded Gareth at the same time.
So what? We're just supposed to sit here and wait for this shit.
I can't believe this.
Gareth replied.
Okay, I might have gotten a bit ahead of myself. Lesson learned. But hey, I mean, aren't we having a good time as friends?
Sure thing. We are having a swell time with our good friend the Pukwudgie,
replied Ominous sarcastically. Sebastian said,
Everyone come here.
Gareth muttered.
Is the huddle really necessary?
Why? Don't you like it?
Agrius chuckled. Gareth replied,
I don't know, it's hard to tell in this scenario. Feels more like a survival technique than a team-building exercise. Does he always do this?
Agrius faltered.
Not always. He's quite spontaneous, really. I'd say this is more of part of his planning process.
Gareth chuckled.
It's a bit dramatic, don't you think?
Agrius laughed, and Sebastian scoffed.
Do you really think it's a good idea to gossip about me this close to my face?
Gareth taunted.
Laying on the drama a bit thick tonight. Aren't you, Sallow?
The only thing that's thick here is your skull.
Sebastian sneered.
Now shut up and pay attention.
Ominous interrupted.
I just heard a click. Like when the knock locks onto the bowstring.
He's drawn an arrow,
warned Sebastian.
Alright, new plan. Since Gareth's such a professional on dramatics, he's going to be the last one of us to take off. Sort of a climatic moment, if you will.
What?
Gareth whimpered, and Sebastian said,
Oh, don't worry, we'll be right in front of you. But, we're going to need a distraction to outrun.
But why me?
Gareth moaned. Sebastian scoffed.
Well, for one, you're the slowest out of all of us.
Well, yes, I can see that,
said Gareth as a matter of factly.
There you are,
said the Pukwudgie, while shooting an arrow.
Ah!
Sebastian shouted, and they all started running, protecting each other somehow.
Move it! Go, Come go, on, go! Ominous, this way!
On it! Sebastian!
Ominous called for Sebastian, who replied,
I'm right here, Omi. Where's Weasley?
Get out of this forest!
said the Pukwudgie.
Yikes!
Gareth, Sebastian, and Agrius ran to the school. Meanwhile, Ominous had literally been left in the dark. He said,
Wait, guys.
Oh, whatever.
At least the tournament is finally over.